Okay, with that out of the way, so we'll go straight to it. So this thing topic is what? Sales plus skills. Yes, and that's what we are discussing tonight. Sales plus skills. And I'll give you just a quick backstory to what led to this thing. So as someone that has been in the online education space for, I'll say, 5 years now, I get a lot of questions from people. They are like, "Oh, I want to this, I want to do this, I want to do that, but I don't know how to get into this skill." Even before you even start talking about sales, first of all, the skill is the first thing first. You understand? The skill is the first thing. You have to ensure that what you know what you are doing. Because if you don't know what you are doing, nobody will be willing to give you money. Everybody, it's like we live in a generation where it's easy for anybody to add anything to their bio: a graphic designer, a writer, enthusiast, software development. So it's easy. Setting a bio takes less than 1 minute to write anything on your bio. But what's what differentiates you from everybody out there? We live in a highly competitive world. So what separates you from this and this person that is also in the same field as you? Understand? So I'm going to talk about a lot of things. I'm going to also probably at one point scribble. At the end of the day, how valuable this webinar becomes for you guys is the questions that you ask. So yes, I've already written down what I want to teach. You guys already know what I want to teach about. You read the copy before you join. Yes, you get that. But any further insights you get from this webinar depends on the questions you ask. That's just it. So that's why I say listen and write. So as you're listening and writing, your mind is already calculating all those things. When it's time for questions, you know the right questions to ask. But if you're not listening and you're not writing, you don't know what to ask. You just say, "Okay, yes, sir, you will be thanking me for the webinar." And you have to thank me because it's quality. But because I'm someone that's is not, it goes beyond teaching. Whenever I'm teaching something, I try my best to ensure that the people that I'm teaching gets quality from what I'm teaching. You understand? The people I'm teaching gets quality. So my happiness is not in the money you paid. My happiness is in the fact that you join this webinar and you can come back next week or next month or next 2 months and say, "Oh, that was thing you taught in the webinar, I've applied it to, I've gotten." So that's the best kind of reward you can give a teacher, not paying to join a webinar. Money you pay self, you know that is not even up to. I do things like this because if you put it out for free, this place will be full, and money will not do anything. So at least you have showed skin in the game, that at least you have an interest, you have dropped some money ahead. So now I have smaller people to manage. I dropped form in the afternoon for people that will get extended help. Only 23 people filled it. No, I'll work with those 23 people for any further thing. So yeah. So let's get straight to it. So skills plus skills. Skills yeah. Skill plus sales. So any money you make from a skill is not in how many skills you have. The money you seek rests strongly on driving sales. So now, first of all, if I hear and you're a skilled person and nobody on your WhatsApp or on your Twitter knows what you do, you are already priming yourself for failure. So if somebody can join your WhatsApp now, provided somebody gets your WhatsApp number today, and if by Friday they don't know what you do, then you're already failing in selling yourself. So I gave 3 days because it's probably not every day you post about what you do. But if you have gone 3 days and someone cannot guess what you do, that's a problem. It means that you're not pushing yourself. And I found out that most people are very, very good at pushing everything but themselves. Bayern Munich has bought Sadio Mane. They post it. Election is coming. Of course, everybody has to post election one to this period because if you vote in the wrong person. And if you're a young person and you don't have a PVC, you can't get your PVC and vote with your conscience. So this thing, so this one will happen. You post. A latest movie will come out. Marvel movie will come out. You post. You wake up in the morning and you have made. If you're somebody that are here and you made at least one status update that talks about what you do, can you indicate in the chat box? I have 33 people here. If you are here today and I go to your status update now, I can guess what you do. You talked about at least one thing about what you do as a skilled person, probably you're a writer or a designer or whatever. Can you get in the chat box? Let me see how many people. Is it only Amarachi? Who else? Thank God I'm happy that I have most of the numbers saved. So as I call your name, I'm going to your status go and check. So Amarachi says she did. Okay, let me check Amarachi's status. Amarachi. Wait, let me check the list first. Amarachi, please, do I have your number? There are up to like 4 people or 5 people in that this thing. I don't have their number. I have up to like 5 Amarachi here. It's not know which one is you. Okay, let me check Octavian. I'm here, Octavian. Octavian. If your first video for today is Tinubu, okay, this was from yesterday. This one yesterday. Okay, I'm talking about today. But the last 3 things, you posted a video about Tinubu. Okay. Okay. Then the last post you did was about design system. Like this design system made you cry and go to bed. You now said you posted hey designs for the 1%. Then you now posted message to the youth. So there's nothing that shows us you did now. Okay, this design system on. But anyway, at least. So who else should I check? Let me check. Who else? Who else should I check? As some people that have muted me from doing that because I used to press their neck. So okay, let me check Emmanuel Solaro. Let me check your status. I'm not even sure whether are you the one that is Emmanuel Solaro. Say posted lawyer boys still exist. I just busy reading their career. Okay. This is a Chinese video. Are you the one? Are you sure you're the one, sir? This is a video of a Chinese people playing with catapults. Okay. Oh. There's nothing here that talked about what you do. Okay, Shags. Okay, let me check Shags. Shags. I remember Shags. I'm not seeing Shags here. Oh. No status update from Shags. There's some people that have muted me from viewing their status because they don't want me to press their neck. So they muted me from viewing their status. I didn't see Shags. No status update from Shags here. Chino that is laughing. Let me check your own. Chino, so it's here. You have your own. Okay. So you see, the first problem is visibility. Chino says still posting since last year. There's a problem. So so last year I got a strategic partnership with Bella Ninja last year, and it was somebody on my contact that she's following on Instagram, and they talked about, do you know anybody that wrote a book on productivity? And she said, yes, she knows me, and she tagged me there. And that's how I got a DM from them and all that. So the first thing you need to understand, a lot of people struggle with sales because they don't understand the concept of, we like call it food soldiers, or is food soldiers the right word? But it's practically about the fact that every single person around you should know what you do. So let me give an example with Zona, my friend and my brother. I'm even using this Google Meet account for this call. So Zona, so 3 years ago, oh no, so not 3 years ago, that was, I think 5 years ago, that was 20, I think, is it 2016-ish? So 2016, how many years ago, sir? 2016 is up to like, I think 6 years ago now. So around 2016 or so, Zona started a barbering salon. You understand? Started a barbering salon. And it was in an area that was not quite bubbling like that. It was like around the major road. So it was only small children that was not coming to barb hair in Zona's shop. So all those small, so it was very, very nice to children. So all these small children, like, so they started coming to his shop to barb hair. So if you come to his Zona shop, only small children are there. You can come there. You see 2 people are barbing. It's children, like 7 years old, 8 years old. The eldest you see there will be probably around 12, 13. And that was all that was coming. So all these small children in that area, this one come, they'll come, all of them will just come, all the whole siblings will come. You understand? So adults there, the whole adults there were not patronizing because they probably felt they could not barb or something like that. But what happened? Anytime those children came, he barbed them. He didn't say that these were children and just shattered them. No, when they came, he barbed them well, treated them right. And before long, Every single those children started bringing their fathers. So what? So now he moved from Babylonian children. So the father said they want to Babylon. He said, I know they will know a place. To all those children, they started bringing their parents, their father, their uncles, their eldest brothers. They started. I even know it's not how it was. He now had a much like wider this thing. So I'm saying this because some of you here, you have a skill, you're learning a skill, and you don't talk about it on your WhatsApp. No day should pass that you don't talk about what you do on WhatsApp. Even if possible, start off by setting an alarm for it. So I'm somebody that was I said anything that I find important, I know I must forget. Like now, I told people to what set alarm for this webinar by 8 o'clock. Many people are here because they did not set that alarm. Because if I set the alarm, now it was reminded them it's the webinar. They will join. So 50 people pay for the webinar, but only 35 people are here. 35 people are here. So if where are the remaining 15? I know I see all those remaining 15 that there are so many online now. So now online now on YouTube on doing rubbish. And also, if you're here, like for people that are just joining, you are meant to be writing because what after this session, if you come to me with questions, the first thing I'll ask is for your notes. If you can't provide my note, I might even block yourself out of anger. I don't even think I've ever blocked more than WhatsApp, but I'm just using it to portray the point. Don't come to ask many questions if you can't show me your notes from this webinar. Because I don't make out time for unserious people. So make sure you're writing. You have to be at that point where you understand. So that girl that linked me up with Brenda, she was a very, very young girl. She's probably like 17 or 18. So that kind of person, she doesn't even have a company that can employ me but what she was able to refer me towards people who could pay me or people who could partner with me. So what you have to get to that point whereby what even if everybody in WhatsApp status, even everybody, though there's that point of intentional building, we'll still get there probably. But because that's not part of the book, but out of my good measure, I talk about it. But what you need to understand that what every single person, even if it's 5 people that view your status update, those 5 people should know what you do. For a start, over 60% of your problem why you don't have sales is because nobody around you knows what you do. I mean, people behave as if that what there's one random ghost that appear out of anyone, just give them it. It does not work that way. So what I started learning product design by what I started learning product design April 1st or 2nd, 2019. And that very first day, I did a very, very, very wonderful rubbish design that I did that day. But what the moment I was done, I was not just looking at it and saying, okay, I'm done. No, I downloaded it immediately and came to my WhatsApp status and posted it. I said, hey guys, check what I did. I started learning product design, see my first design. It was very, very rubbish. Like it was not looking good at all. I think I don't know the kind of rubbish color I even use, like light brown or something like that. But what I cared more about feedback than what people. So of course, some people laugh. Hey, what is this? Many of you are held back and you're not moving forward because what you are too concerned about what people think, and those people are not feeding you. All those people are thinking about that. What will this person think? What will this person say? Those people, if I die of hunger, none of them will send you money to eat. And what you will keep shying away from because of what people think. Those people don't even think. They don't even have your time. If you want to do this exercise, after this webinar tonight, don't make a status update from now to Wednesday next week. Come back and tell me how many people DM'd you to ask you where you are or what's wrong with you. Just try it. Just go on a 1 week break. Don't make any status updates on WhatsApp. Don't upload any status for 1 week. From today is Wednesday, Abby. From now to next week, Wednesday. Then come back and tell me how many people ask you where you are. Nobody have your time. Nobody have their problem. People are thinking about how to this country service is not even helping. And you stay in your house and be thinking that somebody is thinking about who sent you? Who are you? So the moment you break that know what people think or what people say, that's the ultimate freedom that you can get as a young person. Because that's the first thing. If I post design, they will laugh. And when they finish laughing. So that day I posted my rubbish design like that. Me, I've already even conquered that thing since. Me, I'm not the kind of person. If you're here and you follow my WhatsApp, you already know that I'm not a conventional human being. I'm not somebody I don't do the normal things. I don't lose 1 second of sleep by thinking what will people say. If you don't like that, people that have muted my status, I'm happy. And what I've met some of them, I'll go for a meetup, I'll go for a seminar, physical seminar, and so many people. How many people here know NK? If you know NK, can you indicate in the chat box? How many people here knows who knows NK here? Okay, Zioli Emmanuel, investor NK. Investor, when she came to Enugu last year, I met up. So she said that she confessed to me. She told me that what that the first time she got my number that she deleted it because of what that my status update was just hot, too hot for her. And what she said that what after a while, somebody will screenshot my status and repost. She'll say, hey, this guy, this thing makes sense. Please give me his number. She'll collect my number again. Then after some while, she will delete it again. She said she deleted my number 3 times before she now finally saved it for the last time I left it. Because what most of people don't like sharing the truth. They like someone that is pampered. So they don't want people to tell them the truth. They just want you to tell them that what is going to be okay. It's not going to be okay. As a young person, if we are in the we are still in the we have been entering soup. Dollar have moved from 500 to 600 in how many weeks? So even though now we are supporting P2B to win this election, even if P2B wins this election, it will still take time for recovery to come. The damage that have been done over the past 20 years or so, not be even P2B say that what he is not a messiah, that his own is that what at least let us face the right direction. And so there's hope that what things are getting better, not we keep going backwards. So at least when you get the right person, they'll start setting this. It will not happen overnight, but at least we're gonna see that what the hell we're already on a path, positive path to progress. And probably what in the next 8 to 15 years, things will what get much more better. So if P2B can do 2 tenors and hand over to somebody else that is good like him, but what if we fail this time again and prove the wrong person? We keep going backwards. So even if P2B wins and still start changing, we still have a period of time. So as a young person, and now this current government, they still have how many months left before this between this year and next year? Some people will cry blood. So if as a young person, so people that follow me know what I'm a Jesus boy, I'm a Jesus baby. But it does not the scriptures work with grace and truth. If you like be crying to God and be saying grace, 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 if you don't work, you suffer. Because God does not throw money down from heaven. Even if God wants to bless, when God wants to bless you, He passes the blessing through channels. So you still have to you still have to give God a channel through which He can bless you. So if you are idle, God will be liquidating on you. Bible, if the scripture says that what whatever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, whatever you lose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. So earth always have to move first. So some of you are waiting, if you're waiting on God, God is waiting on you. So at least give me a channel. So if you're a young person now and you have not woken up to the fact that what your future is in your hands and you need to take the right steps and you let the whole the whole things happening around you. One of the reasons why I always laugh at people who don't write during sessions is that what even me that teach during sessions, I take notes when I'm teaching. I just got something that I need to write down. But some people still join these sessions and do not write. So some people on WhatsApp now scrolling through WhatsApp. Don't worry, that's what you're looking for, you see it. So so many people have that many people have that mindset that what it go better. And you have been saying it go better for the past 10 years of your life. And things are not getting better. Why? There are no action backing what it go better. So I urge you as a young person, choose this day. Every Bible say, choose this day, the God you shall serve. Choose this day to be vocal about what you do. So when I say learning that design, my design was not fine, but I was not bothering about who are you, what people say, or what will probably was happening. No, I was more interested in what the feedback that I would get. So even my very first design, I can even open to me and show you guys. Very rubbish stuff. I carried it and put on my status. Say, hey guys, I started a product. This is my first design. What do you guys think? The people that laughed. People like Octavian and Co that understood design started giving me advice. Okay, you use the wrong color here. Okay, change your font to this way. I was already getting feedback from the people who mattered. So what? So people, designers, those okay, yeah, you tried all this, okay. Add. No, I'm not saying Octavia Lam. I'm saying that people like Octavia started giving me the guidance, like this thing. Okay, use this font next time. Uh, change this color. Okay, set this thing this way. So I started getting feedback from the people who knew what they were doing. I don't think you replied need them, but I'm not using an example because I'm a designer. You understand? So if you start sharing your work very, very early, you start getting the feedback that matters. Not everybody will review your work. Not everybody will review your work. But even if it's one person that reviews and gives feedback, that one matters. The person will give you one or two tips that will help you move on. But what the other thing there is that what you already building that mindset of the people around you that what you're a designer or that you're a writer or you're a developer or you're into sales. So now they so now everybody here on this corner, let's do a little exercise. You understand? How many people are still awake, Seth? If you're awake, type yes in the chat box. If you're sleeping over by this time, your village people have had you on lockdown. Emmanuel just like raising his hands. All right, so let us do a little exercise. I'm doing these practical stuff to, I believe, storytelling makes it more vivid. If I can just go and read through this my course outline here and we'll just go, but I'm concerned about you getting the nitty-gritty of what I'm saying. So now, so you all paid to join this webinar, right? You all paid to join this webinar. Eh, eh, eh. At what do you remember the point in time you determine that what actually is someone that can pay money to hear teach something? At what point in time do you make up your mind that I'm somebody you can trust to pay money and join a webinar I'm hosting? Now, I'm not talking about the course itself or this webinar itself, because what there are people who do webinars like this. You need paid to join their webinar. So can anybody remember the points where you could say, okay, this guy knows what he's doing? So it didn't happen one day. It happened. That's uh that's uh that consistency, that's calling say for my status update. That thing was mostly built over time, because you show up every day, you see me post one thing. You show up every day, you see me post one thing. Today I post this, I post that. You was over a period of time, you could what you could see it built up. So that's the same thing that happens with you. People don't know you as a brand overnight. You have to consistently show up every day. And before you know it, you have built a mind share. You have a share of that mind, like, okay, this person is good at this. It doesn't happen overnight. There are people, it's very, very rare to meet people today and trust them with money immediately. Of course, you can go and see some sales copy out there, but those sales copy only depends on what? Testimonials. So even if you don't know me and you see a sales page from me, if I add testimonials to that page, you borrow the trust of those people, or you build confidence in me, because okay, these are other people that have trusted this guy and they got results, so I can trust him. But it goes back to what? It goes back to people trusting you. So it's very, very important. You don't build this thing called sales. Do you know anything about sales? Sales does not start when you release a marketing copy. Sales does not start when you, hey guys, I'm launching a course or a book or whatever, or a physical event. Read about it, pay and join. What was the mindset that people had when they came in contact with you? That's the first. So some people have said that they joined my webinar with drilled and that kind of thing. So before that webinar, so they say, oh, our guest for this week is Ajulu, he's good with this, that. So what, you were joining that webinar because you heard that I was good in some things that you had interest in. That's where the sales started. The sales started that day, not the day not after you attended the webinar, got my WhatsApp status, and no, the sales have already started from day one, because what, you connected with me because of something that I know that you wanted to know. That is when sales started. So there are other things you have connected around about me. I've probably not released a course on there, but tomorrow, if I release a course on that thing, you want to buy, because yes, I'm sure he knows this. He can teach me about it. So you have to what? You have to understand this thing. You have to show up every day. Tell yourself that what, I will not post about any other brand until I post about my own brand every day. It's a simple rule. Tell yourself that what, I will not post about any other brand until I've talked about my brand or my status. It's a simple rule, but it's very, very hard. Like me now, one of the rules I made for myself on WhatsApp was that what I will never post anything negative on my WhatsApp status. Why? The world is already negative. There's more abundance of negative information. Even our brain is scientists have proven that what our brain is more negatively wired than positively wired. So I told myself that what there is already enough negativity out there and even in our minds. So what I'm sure that what if I choose not to post negativity, the world will not miss it. So what if you frame myself of I never post negative news. This person dies. I think the only time somebody died and I posted was I think was and it was more like a celebration. So I think it was only the only people that have died in the past that I've posted is Chadwick and Kobe Bryant. I think that's the only two people that have died. And theirs is more of a celebration of what they have done on the impact of their life. But hey, they called the person head though, and they posted the video of how they call somebody head. You never see it on my status. So what is very, very what's important that you become I'm not even gotten to the main points of this webinar, but I'm trying to lay the right foundation because if you don't get these foundational things right, it's not you don't struggle without it's not knowledge that you struggle with, it's what is attitude that is the major thing. So the attitude you have towards what you do goes a long way in determining the results that you get. You can be the most skilled person, but if you don't have the right attitude towards what you do, you will still not be known. You will still not be able to what get opportunities. So it's very, very important that what you are very, very what mindful of these things. It's very, very important that you are mindful of these things. Very, very what important. So what if there are two major things, let me just wrap up with these two major things and we move on. The two major things I talk about them in time I teach is fear and ego. So let's start with fear. A lot of people are afraid. I don't want to do this. What if it fails? I was talking to somebody and she was like, that was okay. I was talking with chasing the business people on a call yesterday. And one of them was she was like saying that she's interested in so many things. And I told her that was don't be afraid. See, break it down, choose one and start. And what even if most people tell themselves that what most people most people tell themselves that what I have so many things to do and what for 6 months some people this year they were meant to start on the January this year but they felt that what there are so many things to do how did I pick one and they're still in meditation zone till today June the year I've already gone into how they have not started because what I still pondering what should I start but if I have started even if I've started one and it didn't work out the club move on to the next thing so I was telling them doing the chasing the business call yesterday that's what I gave them the how I moved on the timeline of my blog, or what how I moved from not knowing what to write, but instead of me to sit down and be thinking, oh, like I started writing short stories every day because I know how to write short stories. So I became a fiction writer, Chino Achebe, on that blogging platform. Every day I show up, I come online, I write a short story, and I publish it every day. And as I'm publishing those stories, I'm not just sitting down. It was a global, it's just like Medium, but it was on a blockchain, Steam it. So it's a global blogging platform. People from all over the world was creating content. So I didn't just sit down there. You know, as I published my stories, I went out and read the articles of other people and was commented, interacted with them. And as I was going around those platforms, with other people's posts, I found out that a lot of people didn't know how to write, a lot of people didn't know how to build their brand, a lot of people didn't know how to do this, like picking a niche, a lot of them how to do blogging. So I was like, okay, I've spent the past 4 years or so learning about all these things. Can't let me start teaching people. So what I started blogging about how to blog on my blog. And that's how I built my first brand online, made my first million naira from writing. I didn't have to add another skill to it. No, my very first skill, I monetized my very first skill. I didn't say, okay, let me add design so I can get more jobs. No, I figured out a way to what drive sales for that first skill. So for most of it, that's what you need. And how do you drive sales? So the second thing is ego. Ego is pride in what I think ego is, I don't know whether pride is ego pro max or ego is pride anyway, but what is killing a lot of people. The reason why some people don't talk about what they do is because they don't want people to think that they are broke or that they are hustling. You know, they're dying of hunger. A lot of people want to put up appearances that what they are successful. I was talking to somebody last 2 months or so, I mean last 3 months, and he told me that what he said, give me an example or look at social people, look at social person. That's what this person is not even posting about what they do on their Twitter. That their Twitter is scanty, that they are not even talking about anything about their business. But see, the person got a job. For example, I saw somebody that posted that she got an internship with Bank of America. Her profile is scanty. Then I told him something, that you are here. And I asked him a question. Is your father in tech? He said, no. Your father is in the village or west. Even your father is in town. He's probably a merchant in the market. He said, your father is not in tech. Do you have any elderly one in tech? He said, no. I said, yeah. So you are so now you're comparing yourself with somebody whose father can pick up a phone and say, Oga, please, I want my son to work in your startup or in your bank. He's very, very good. He said, okay. And what if with a phone call, the father can get them job in any of those big tech companies? But you that do not have anybody, you're not using them to compare to yourself, that you must not even post about your work, you must not post your designs. I say hunger will kill you. Because the same way your father is selling in maybe Alabama markets or any of those markets, if you want to start selling in Alabama markets, your father has influence there. He can get you a shop easily and go. Someone even give you some credit. So don't use people whose parents has influence in tech to compare yourself and say that you did that. After all, I must not post my work. That is too stressful. That see this one did not post their work and they got job. Their father made calls, or somebody they know made calls and got them those placements. Do you have anybody that can make those kind of calls for you? No. And you're here comparing yourself. He said, like, it was just that he didn't know what to say again. He said, it's true. I said, no, it's a lie. Maybe you want to do this thing, fine boy. I'm moving in silence. Moving in silence. Most of those people are moving in silence, not even doing anything. Is they move in silence. Let your success make the noise. And then you're using your mother's hotspot to come online. It's very, very important to mommy, please on hotspot for me. And you use it and come online and say, walk in silence. Let your success make the noise. You need making noise in your house, you stop your mother for data. They will send you to go and buy something, you bring out 500 naira and keep, you used to do 2 gig night plan. But still, you come online, you don't use it and get sense. Use it and catch cruise. And type that words, I'm moving. You move to where? So it's very, very important you give yourself strength, sense. If you don't have helper, start shouting. Let the whole world know what you do. Let the whole world know what you do. Even though broadcast messages can be annoying, maybe once every month, send broadcast everybody on your contact list. And I'll still talk about that probably, how to do it the right way. No, they go. It's the question that people ask that will even make me happy and teach you extra things. If people don't ask questions, I'll just go. You can sleep. So it's very, very important that that you don't deceive yourself. You know the level where you are. You know the level where you are. Don't ego. Some people, they don't post their work because what? If I post this thing now, or if I post I need jobs now, this girl I'm scoping will think will know that I don't have money. Or this guy, this will think I don't have money. And poverty is just looking at you, smiling. Ego, too big to share your work. I think Don Jazzy talk about that thing that was this Simon Don Jazzy, that there are some musicians of these days that they don't want to post their work. They don't think it's cool to post or this thing, talk about what they do. They all want to be moving inside. They want to tie scarf like whiskey and wear black shades and be moving around. Meanwhile, they don't even have up to 10 streams. So it's very, very important. A young man came to me and told me that he's a software developer, but he's struggling to get jobs. Please, can I give him tips on how to get jobs? I said, you, software developer, are you sure? He said, I didn't even ask him again. I knew because I know his Instagram. He's very active on Instagram. I searched for his Instagram account and opened it. I checked his bio. I read through his bio. Nothing about on his bio about being a software developer. So just one of those, I don't know, all these Chris Brown music lyrics that they used to put on their status. I said, okay. I went to his highlights. I scrolled. Nothing there about software development. I said, okay. Let me check his posts. I went through that guy's last 30 posts or so. Nothing on them about being a software developer. But just pictures of him in the mall at the E3. Snapping, I don't know that is the model or a software developer. Pictures everywhere. He goes to Chicken Republic, he snap, he go here. I said, Oga, are you a model or a software developer? There's no single post on your Instagram about what you do. So is it ghost? Or will you be walking on the road now and somebody, a CEO just, that guy knows that a software developer, that guy looks like a software developer, call him. So yeah, if you are here, like me now, if you check my Twitter, I think the only place I chilled down small was my Instagram. But my Instagram post, I still posted my highlights. See, it goes to my Instagram. If you like, I can share my screen now. My highlights talk about all the music I do, even though I'm not active on Instagram. My Twitter, the same thing. Some of you, God have blessed you since. Your blessing is a ghost. You just go flying around the earth looking for a body to join because you have not given it a landing point. Your blessing is just a ghost in the spiritual world because God have done his part. Any day you give his body, it will what? It would this thing. So it's very, very important. Fear and ego will ruin you. If you don't conquer them, it will ruin you. Please raise your hand. As this is shared Jamboard. What is your Jamboard? Okay, now. So what it's you need to get to that point. That's what if you don't conquer fear and ego, you won't anybody that's not writing is just this thing. Another discussion, you just leave. I think I'll even remove people self from that group. If you not show me your note, I'll add you back. That's what I'll do self. So uh the so what's the first thing I was meant to talk about in this webinar? I've not talked about the main thing, so it's already 9 o'clock. So let's start with daily routine. I talked about the fact of setting a proper daily routine. That was the first thing. So I'm going to screen share now. So screen share. I'm sharing a tab. If I share my whole screen, I will see all my secrets. Share a tab. So I'm sharing the day one tab. So can you see my screen now? Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen? You can see my screen. Type amen in the chat box. Who is saying no? Ha. Maximize your screen. No. All right. So now let's go. The first thing is about a daily routine. So the first you have to understand, the first write it down. We all know it's a very, very popular quote that we know, but I will quote it again. You understand? I'll quote it again. And the quote says that what if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. The very, very simple quote, but it captures everything that has to do with life. A original reason why you are not productive is because you don't have an established daily routine. So every day you wake up, you don't know what you're meant to do that day. So what you float around, float to WhatsApp, float to Instagram, float to YouTube, float to Netflix, float to TikTok. And before you know it, it's 9 p.m. You go to bed, wake up the next day and repeat the next thing. And I'm wondering why you're not making money from your skills. So the first key is what? Setting a daily routine. So I'm not going to make it hard for you. I'm going to make it easy for you, sorry. I'll make it less hard for you by sharing my personal daily routine with you. So it will make your your routine creation faster. So even if you're not a writer like me or you're not building what I'm building, you can learn from it and map out your own. So at this point, if you're not writing, I'm sorry for you. If you're not writing at this point, I'm sorry for you. And also know that when the recording comes out, it is not everything I'll be in the recording. Mhm. When I do sessions like this, there's a special treat for people who join live. So when the recording is coming out, I'll remove some things that is premium information that I shared. So, but know that the recording will contain everything I promised to contain. But the things I'll remove. So if I will not be writing since, I'm sorry for you. So mostly I'll even start the recording from now that because this is where I am now. This is where I am now in the live webinar. I mean, this is the first thing I said. Let me go through the list of things I said. When I said about this webinar, what are the things I said I'll teach? The first thing was setting an effective daily routine. This is where we are now. The second thing is creating the right portfolio, which is next. Code pitches is third. Digital email address is fourth. So the five things I said I'll teach in this webinar, those five things you paid for, it will be in the recording. But other premium information I have brought since, I'll just cut it out. So people listening to the recording will get. So you'll not be writing. I want to tell you. So let's go. So so I would this thing. So please pay attention. Please pay attention on what? Have your notes ready. Okay, network people. Okay, I will share everything. Let's go. Everything I network admin. Okay, I'll not cut any parts out. Let's go. So now to the what yes. So now I have two things. I have daily routine, I have daily workflow, I have content flow. But everything is distilled into the daily routine. So I think that's the major thing. My content flow and my daily workflow was what determined what design. So let me just start with content flow. Talk about what my content flow is. Abi, is there anything I can share? No. This content flow is the old one. This is the old one. Where is the new one? So I think it's daily workflow that is not the new one, Abi. Yes, these are the things that daily workflow. So which one should I project first? Is it daily workflow or daily routine? Okay, daily routine is just practically my time allocation. So let's start with daily routine. So now everybody has that two kind of people. There are morning people and there are people that are not good at this thing. They're not morning, they're not good in the morning. Like they can't wake up early. So if you are someone that wakes up by, it does not matter when you wake up. Like Revi said, it's not about how long you sleep. It's about what you do while you are awake. Many people, if you are someone that are here, please don't play with your sleep. Ensure you get at least 6 hours of sleep per night. Don't joke with your sleep. Prolonged bad sleeping habits reduces your lifetime. So if you are meant to live up to the age of 100, you can just die by the age of 75. So that time you believe that you are losing it on the longer term. So always sleep. If you are very, very well rested, you're going to be much more productive. So I tell people that what the problem is not time management. You can't manage time. Like I'm talking about it at the base truths. Yes, it's time management. I'm talking about time management for it. But the real thing you have to manage is not time. The real thing you are meant to manage is your attention. The real thing is attention management. Because what makes you waste time is you give attention to the things that are not aligned to your goal. So you're meant to be writing an article and you're in your TikTok watching videos. Your attention has been shifted from the article you're writing to TikTok, to YouTube, to any of those social media platforms, to WhatsApp. So what is wavering is your attention. Time is stable, time is constant. We know that there are 24 hours in a day. There's no day you wake up and say, okay, today I have 25 hours, or today I have 23. Time is always constant. The only thing that wavers is your attention. If you give your attention to a particular task only, you will achieve a lot of things in a day if you focus on your task, if you give attention to your task, irrespective of what time. So now, everybody here, based on yourself, you know when you wake up, you must not wake up very, very early. There are a lot of benefits of waking up early, but also study yourself to know how you function as a human being is best, and don't follow the crowd at all times. So if it's 10 a.m. you wake up and you can start work by 10 a.m., like if you probably wake up by 8 or 9, and by 10 a.m. that's when you can start work. Great. So because what, if you're waking up by 8 a.m., so probably you can even stay up till around 2 a.m. and you can still get your 3 hours, 6 hours of sleep. You understand? So now this is my morning routine. The devotions like workout. Though these days I do only devotion. I work out like probably I will resume workout next month. But devotion, I never do with my devotion. I don't do anything until I do my devotion. And a side note, one of the best ways, people come to me and tell me, you are so this thing, you are so consistent, you are so disciplined. How are you able to do it? And I tell them this, my secret is simple. Most people don't like my answer. But I'm like, I'll tell you that you don't like the answer to that question. And they'll be like, okay, tell me. I say that what I started off by doing my morning devotion first of all. What you need to understand, what discipline is a muscle. The same way you can go to the gym and you build muscle over time. That's how discipline is. So if you build discipline and consistency in one area of your life, it becomes easy for you to transfer that into other areas of your life. So due to the fact that what I focus first and build a habit of daily devotion, I always read my Bible and prayed every morning, first of all, before anything, and I became consistent with it. It became easy for me to transfer that consistency spirit to other things. You understand? So 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. is devotion slash workout, everything. 5 a.m. Sometimes I even wake up by 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. But the goal for me is that what. And first of all, an important point, you will not always follow this routine. But because what? There are days now, 5 a.m., your mother is waking you up. Please, come and rush and go to this person's house and get me something. And 5 o'clock, you have rushed out from the house. And you're not be getting home by 12 at noon. There are days when things will hit you out of this routine. There are days where you will not be able to follow your routine. There's never a day that I have to follow. There's never a period of extended period of time I follow this routine perfectly. But what happens that what on the days where nothing happens, you will not waste that day. On the normal days where you wake up in the morning and you don't have anywhere to rush off in the morning, and what this is a normal day, like a normal day, at every single hour of the day, you know what you are meant to be doing by that time. So 5 a.m. to 8 a.m., my devotion slot. Then what I read emails 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Please, if you have a question, you can be typing it in the chat box. I don't understand this raising of hand. So if you are this thing, so I read emails 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. I do housekeeping. Sometimes I even do housekeeping first because what, I can't sit down to work if my house is not kept, especially my room. If my room is not tidy, I can't work. But I have to sweep and clean it if I can actually work. That's how I'm wired. So then the first shift. So I'll still come back to this different shift and what I do during those different shifts. So first shift, 10 a.m. to 12 noon, the first stretch of work. And what even in that first stage of work, sometimes I make use of a Pomodoro system where what I do 25 minutes of work and 5 minutes of rest. So if you're here and you have heard me talk about Super Day, can you indicate in the chat box? If you're here and have heard me talk about Super Day, can you indicate in the chat box? Yeah, so Super Day is a startup I'm building with online education. So in summary, at Super Day, we're building learning infrastructure for the internet. So what, like you already know, like everybody here already knows, when it comes to learning online, content is not the problem. Content is abundance on YouTube, on personal websites, on Coursera, and Udemy, that courses you have paid for. If you're here and you have paid for a course and you have not finished it, can you indicate in the chat box? You paid for an online course you have paid for, and it was even free. You signed up for it and you have not finished it. So what? That's what we are building a solution to that as per day with online courses, helping people, increasing the finish rate for online courses for people. That was what I building as per day. So this check and see, they buy again. So chasing Jeff Bezos members will be among the early users of the platform. what they start using to learn and give feedback. It's also rewards for being early adopters and all those things. So, but what? So I mean, but so our app, we are even want to make use of that Pomodoro system. We have 5 minutes of work, 5 minutes of rest, and with that, you stretch. It's not saying you should not rest, but if once you have allocated time for rest, you can stretch, stand up, do any check messages. Then you know what, for five, I have 5 minutes break to do whatever. Then after 5 minutes, I have to go back to work. So that was most people want to. You can think that you can work for a stretch and not rest, but what, you'll be able to work much longer in the day if you incorporate times of rest between sessions of work. So if I work for 5 minutes and 5 minutes, 5 minutes and 5 minutes over a period of time, at the end of the day, you find out what you have worked for probably 6 hours or 8 hours for the day. But if you want to go out a stretch, let me just walk till I get tired. You probably work for 2 hours, 3 hours. You go and take a nap. Before you know, at the end of the day, you have worked for only 4 or 5. But if I'm using that other system, we're using as introducing the super day, you go 6, 8 hours, you go longer because what, you are rest, walking and resting, walking and resting, walking and resting, and what, your body, you have more energy to go further. So but that's my first shift, 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Then by 12 noon, I do calls. So I have to call someone to have a spontaneous session, which I've not done in a while. Probably next week we'll be back. Or do I have to call somebody? Most I even use that time to go and read mails or read something. But calls are there. Then second shift, you understand, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Then nap. I like taking afternoon naps, most times 2 hours. You know, some people don't be, some people think I'm a robot. I remember the day I posted that I went to the cinema. Someone was asking me, so how did you go to cinema? I said, no, cinema goes to me. So straight to, and most times I also rest, take a nap if I don't get my 6 hours of sleep in the night. I work hard to make sure that what I think. I don't nap every afternoon, but on days where I don't get a full night rest, 6 hours, I try to take 2 hour nap. You understand? Too what? Because what, your brain is the most important thing. Your brain is more important than the tools you use to work. So if you overstress your brain, your tools will be useless. Then evening routine, there's a third shift, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. There's a third shift. Then there's that read/teach. So teach can be a webinar like this. This webinar, like, this webinar started by 8 o'clock, or another webinar with my students, or is it chasing a business program, or this or that, or is there a Twitter space I have to be a part of? It all happens between 8 and 11. So then 11 p.m. is listening like sleep. So there's a 3-2-1 rule that it talks about, that helps your health, uh, I think, is it health, mind, and sleep. So 3-2-1 rule says that what, don't make sure that what, the last meal you eat for the day should be 3 hours before bed. So your last meal for the day should be 3 hours before bed. You understand? So if you want to go to bed by 11 p.m., and where is clock? I don't have clock here. Yes, if you want to go to bed by 11 p.m., you should take dinner by 7 p.m. Though people like us at work, we don't keep that rule. Sometimes you press laptop before you know it. Hey, it's 12 o'clock, I'm not eating. You have to put it on fire by midnight. So 7 p.m. So if you're going to bed by 11 p.m., you should take your last meal for the day. So that your body have enough time to digest that food before you go to bed. So you don't want to get fat. If you are doing body goals, fit farm, always eat at least the last meal for the day should be 3 hours before bed. Now your body should have properly digested it before you go to bed, and you have even extended some of those energy and burned some of those things before sleeping. Then for the mind, stop using your phone 2 hours to bed. So now if you're going to bed by that 11 p.m., by 9 p.m., you should have stop using your phone. How many people here can do that? Some people press their phone till sleep takes them. I'll be here till the sleep gods come. I'm thinking that there's something I'm missing. But the most important thing that was the 1 hour to bed, read a book or listen to a podcast. If you're listening to anything, it should be a podcast, educational something. So, out of all those things was the last, the last, the last, this thing, the last, the last thing that was I think the most important thing you should start with is first 1 hour to bed. So that means if you're going to go to bed by 11 o'clock, By 10 o'clock, you should stop pressing your phone, put your phone on flight mode, and carry a book and read. Or you can start, you can do 30 minutes before bed of, or you can start, all these things can build it up over time. You can say that, okay, 15 minutes to bedtime, I would, so let's say, okay, or you can say that what, or even tell yourself that what, once you lie down to sleep, that your phone should be far away from you, you should have a book. Let's even start with 1 minute to bed. So the moment I lie down, just you can just start from telling yourself that what, the moment I'm lying down on the bed to say I want to go to bed, my phone should be on silent or on, I should turn on my data and keep it on my table. I will stop bringing my phone to bed, and I'll take a book instead. So I'll be reading the book until sleep comes. If you take this simple rule, by the time you start, just try it. You find out that what, you will always wake up with ideas and your brain will be energized, because what, your brain is a supercomputer, and what you fed it was the right information before sleeping. So all night your brain will work on those things you read, or you wake up with ideas. Anytime you're looking for ideas, just try this thing. You can try this night self. Just what, get a book and what, and just what. Or if you don't have a book, don't, it can be an audio message. You can play out loud, but don't press the phone. Just play the audio messages and keep your phone beside you and be listening to it until sleep takes you. You understand? You see the difference by morning. So that's that. So I listen like sleep, then go to bed. So most times listening for me is most times listening for me, listen to a podcast or something like that, or even a message from my pastor. So yeah, so let's go down to workplace. So now, okay, so Kingsley, your business model is unique as a trader, so you can't do most of these things. But your devotion, don't cut your devotion up. If it goes past it, these things are not rigid, but are to guide you. So that days you can want to do devotion just take it to 9 o'clock. Doesn't matter, don't cut the devotion short. Because what are you getting even that guidance for the day? Most times, like me, I depend greatly on the Holy Spirit for guidance. So I can't call them, I can't say, oh, Holy Spirit is time, I'll call I follow the leading of the Spirit. So don't this thing. And yes, like I said, there are always going to be unforeseen circumstances that will make you break your routine. It happens. But it's important that your routine is up. So on the days those unforeseen circumstances don't come, you know how to use your time wisely. And you know, people waste their time because they don't know how to use it. It's not allocated. So yes, you can allocate time and you end up not following it that way. But at least on the days when those things, when unexpected things don't come, you know how to spend your time. Please, you're not to copy my routine verbatim. It's a guide. That I'm trying to explain the principles behind it. So if you're someone that is taking notes, you'll not struggle with creating your own from this thing. Because you go back and review your notes and know how to do your own. So if you have a class to teach, you have to, your routine should reflect what I teach people online. So I'm just sharing my own to give a kind of roadmap on how and that I'm also explaining the reasons behind everything. I'll still go down and explain more things about my own. So if you're a crypto vendor, you get this by 11. You have to be awake. Your phone don't even sometimes put your phone off silence so you don't miss big deals. So your phone should always be on. That's your business because you know this is my business. This is how I make money. Don't me. I'm a writer. People don't DM me to ask for crypto. You understand? So that's your business. This is crypto. So focus on it and follow the principles. But it still does not mean that you should not allocate your other time. So if you are staying awake, probably, then also don't just stay awake to waiting for somebody to can be using that time. You can be reading or doing anything, and your phone is near you. So once somebody messages your calls, you can easily sell them crypto. So I hope you understand, Kingsley. This is not a Google doc. This is a Notion. I'll talk about Notion. I'll talk about Notion. This is a Notion document. So now let's go to let us go to work allocation. This is not a slide. This is my private Notion page. So let's go to work allocation. Because now some people here now what you work with one brand. So probably you're building a personal brand and probably so me now I have two brands, which is day one and super day. So everything I do is under day one. Day one is like the umbrella company for my personal brand. Then there's super day. So now you see the way the workplace allocation go. So what despite the fact that what I have I know I'm meant to when I go to the other part, you fully understand this workplace allocation. But on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays, I'm mostly focusing on what things has to do with the personal brand, which is the one. They have a blog post to write, they have a newsletter to write, they have a WhatsApp status thread to do. You understand? Then Super Day is mostly doesn't mean that I don't do other things about Super Day on day one days or things about day one or Super Day. This no, is what the this thing. If you are joining now and ask for recording, take notes. You show me when you have written. I'm not working with people who are not writing. So write the one you are hearing now. So when you're coming for recorded video, you can come boldly. So if you are joining now, start writing from now. Not come ask for recording without notes. I'm not answering. So um Super Day is Monday, Wednesday, Friday. When I go to the other side, you understand this one. But now you see that what I had first, second, and third shifts. You understand? I talk about my first. I will say morning is first shift, 2 hours. First shift, second shift, 2 hours. Then third shift, 3 hours. You understand? Evening, I talked about this thing earlier. So, my phone wants to die. This never put on carry lights. I mean, if I stand up, going to put that gem now is another missionary journey. I think my power bank is just charged. So let's continue. So so first, second, and third shift is so I use my first shift mode for creating. So creating for me is what is writing a blog post, writing a strategy document. Oh, I've done research about I want to do this thing for chasing the Bezos children. I said children. Then people that are part of the chasing the Bezos will have the particular thing I have to create for them. And I've done research. Okay, let me create documents. Let me create also guide for them, or this guide for that, or is it a blog post I'm writing? Or am I creating a newsletter for to publish? That is under creating. I mostly do those things first in the morning when I write. You know what? My head is still hot. Then what? Second shift is mostly for reading and research. So they have a blog post to read, they have a book to read about my program. So research happens mostly during my second shift. You understand? Then what? First of all, your daily routine might not be as complicated as this. So if you're just starting out, just what you might just be you can just say that okay, I'll work and rest. I'll just allocate depending on how busy you are. So some people here are already working and they just have some few hours of the day to do it. Like I said, your routine should reflect. You know the time you go to work and the time you come out from work. Know how to what allocate your time around those things. You understand? So this is just a guide. You must not be verbatim of this. You understand? You must not be verbatim of this. So touch it mostly for what's creating. Then what's on I still have rules for creation. Creating posts the night before is always the best way to go. So that when I'm making up in the next day is to review, add some things, and what's published. So this part is from Mr. My PA, so I had to remind me. So there's Monday links. These are the different topics I talk about. So that's that for daily routine. So let's go to uh daily workflow. Mhm. So now this is where the rubber meets the road. So now for daily workflow, so there's something you have to understand, and that's the concept of repurposing content. See, one thing I'll help you guys is what everybody should create their own personal routine and share with other people in the group, and you people can discuss. And with that, everybody will find a balance on how to create their own. But if you go back now, okay, I'll still come to that part. But some of you join learning programs and you don't interact in the group. You keep your mouth shut and you're dying in ignorance. And you cannot ask some people. This is another about ego. Some people feel too big to ask questions in groups. They need help or they don't know anything. But to open their mouth and ask, okay, who have done this? Come and guide. They keep quiet and they're just there. And they're just there as ghost members. So I said in this program, so now if you're not fully understanding this daily workflow, the daily routine, you can come and ask who is already creating a daily routine. Oh, I'm a writer. Is there any writer that have created a daily routine? How did you do it? Can we get on a call together and discuss? But let's do it. Or I'm a developer here. Oh, is there any developer here that have started creating that daily routine? How are you doing it? Can we discuss? Can we get on a Google Meet call and create our routine 50 people in this group, 50 people pay for this webinar. We have 50 fellow people like you who are going on the same journey. Learning how to harness those human network is what is going to make a difference between people who will leave after this webinar and don't open that group again and move on, and people who will stay back, interact, and what get guidance they need. It's not possible for you to know everything. But when you start talking to other people, so there's some people that have understood one part of this thing, and this person understood. You can come together. Let's get on a Google Meet call. Let's share our screen and discuss how to. That's how somebody who is serious about growth does. But if your ego is too big to come and ask for help or ask for group stuff, that's your business. You can sit down in your house and keep saying it go better. And one day I'll get a job with your non-existent portfolio. So daily workflow. So now I do what I call creating of a pillar content. So now I'm a writer, you understand? So I'm explaining, I'll be coming mostly from that. But please listen to the principles, because what you everybody here is going to be creating content that talks about what they do. So the first principle of creating content is that what there are two types of content you can create as a skilled person. Whether you're a developer, you're a writer, you're a designer, you're a data analyst, there are two types of content you can create. If you're not writing now, your village people have you on lockdown. There are two types of content you can create. The first is what content that positions you for jobs, content that what helps you build a brand. And there's something that helps you do these two things perfectly. And what is that? Sharing what you are learning. So you are learning, you're a designer, and you learn today how to do color combination. You watch the tutorial and you do it. And what you can even add more, because what let me give you one key aspect of creating content: storytelling. Tell stories. So now you have to tell yourself, okay, now that I learned about color grading today, or color using color in design, I've watched the tutorial. I've Now you can come on a status update and talk about it. Is there any story related to color? I was okay. Also, you said I was okay. Now that I've learned the principle of color and why this color is important, is there anybody that is breaking this color rule? Is there any business out there? I'm going to check. So, okay, these people didn't get this thing right. They come and talk about it. Say, oh guys, I learned about color grading today, and look, I watched this person's tutorial, and if you're watching the tutorial, you need to be taking notes. So these are the different things that stood out for me from the tutorial I watched. So I went back and what I started practicing. You say a picture of your work. Okay, this is what I created, and I chose this color because of this. You're explaining your process. The decision was the decision behind what every decision, the story behind every decision you made. So a simple tutorial that you could have just watched for what, 20 minutes and sleep on Photoshop and nobody knows. You can have used it to create content about what you do. So what everybody that is viewing your status, oh, this person is learning color. Say, oh, she's a designer. Ah, he's a designer. And what you are creating content. So if you're chasing the business, you will even learn how to extend that thing further and start building a community around yourself. But now, even if it's 10 people that view your content status currently, they should know what you do. So what you are already what talking about what you do. So like I said, your own might not be as complicated as this my own. I like to talk about this is the most it at the most basic level. Share what if you go back to go and read that my first chasing the Bezos post, because I chose to start making my chasing the Bezos content freemium, which is that what there's always the free aspect which anybody can read, and there's the premium aspect where only members can access. So now if you read this my article, you would now better map. Let me come and see. Come and see. It's not that what you will now fully get how this thing can be done. I've shared the article in a chat once. So what you now see how that thing happens, the storytelling part, how it comes in. So that is it at the most basic level. So I want to now explain how I also do my own, because it can also help you. And what the major thing I do is to repurpose, create pillar content and repurpose it. So what is pillar content? Pillar content is the content that is I do a research on, and I write a 1,500 words blog post and post it on my blog. But doesn't mean everybody will read it. Some people on WhatsApp will never click on links. That's another thing you need to learn, that is a premium information, platform psychology. But let me just give you a little tip. Observe how you use WhatsApp and assume everybody uses the same way. So you are viewing status updates of people. You see a link to an article, do you click on it? You don't click, you rarely click on it. You go to the next status update. This is just one part of platform psychology. I'm not going to tell you guys everything, but that's a major piece of information. So if somebody in your status update posts a link and you really click on it. I mean, yeah. So guys, let's do a little practical in the chat box. So let's say you see 10 links on, let's say you're going through everybody's status update. Let's say you have 10 followers, 15 followers, 100 followers, and you're seeing different status updates. So let's say you see 10 links on a day, maybe links to a blog post, links to something else. Out of that 10, how many will you guess that you can click in a day? I'm gonna say 8. Nice. Eh, Esther say 4. Shalom say none. Prosperity say 3. 2. It will. Principal saying 2. Someone say 1 or 2. Detroit said none. Voila. You see it, but you will create content and magically believe that you serve a living God and that everybody will click it. So what platform psychology talks about the fact that what not everybody clicks on links that take them. One of the rules of this is my personal rules of platform psychology for my WhatsApp course. The first number one rule of platform psychology is that what people rarely click on links that take them outside social media. Even if they click on it and a website is loading slow, as I'm saying this now, you know it's true. Sometimes you click on the link and it's loading slow. You say, "I've been waiting with this." You just go back. Abi, am I right? So how do you engineer for that? How do you? Mhm. So you are taking notes. You will have known the answer to that. So let's go back to what I'm saying. So pillar content. So pillar content is my blog post, my newsletter. Yes. Oh, Ajilu is a great writer. Not everybody will still click on. So apart from that, there are things I do when sharing the link to make more people click. But apart from that, let's leave that one aspect. I have to repurpose. You understand? Everybody looking up. They're not opening a website. They're opening social media. That's the first thing. Some of you wake up in the morning. You have not come down from the bed to confirm if your leg is still working. You're already on WhatsApp pressing, replying chats. You don't even know. This is a new day. Let me come out from this bed and check whether I can still work. But you already on WhatsApp, replying and sending. So that's where people live on social media. People live on social media. I have one of my mentors. He doesn't even believe in right crazy. He believes purely in social blogging. That he's not all this SEO thing don't make sense. And he's a very, very big writer in his niche, so he has clouds to back what he's saying. So for me, my pillar content is my blog post. And it contains for every particular topic I'm writing about, it contains full in-depth things about those things. But I have to repurpose the content. So I come on Twitter and I create a Twitter thread of that contains the major insight from the article. I still link the article at the end of the thread in case anybody's interested. But anybody that views the Twitter thread can still get much value about that topic. Then if you're more interested, click on the link. Same thing with Medium. I repost on Medium. I come on WhatsApp and I talk about the core things, some of the core things. I don't do this all the time on WhatsApp too. But I come and talk about what that's repurposing content. So you already have pillar content, is always there. Then what you are now breaking down. So somebody that also does video can what use the blog post as a script for a video. So that's what pillar content is in my own pillar content is blog post. Some of your pillar content can be video. You can record a video and take cut clips on that video to post on WhatsApp, cut clips on that video to post on TikTok, cut clips on that video to post on YouTube. Instagram. Extract the audio and put it somewhere. But pillar content is what a major block of content that you can repurpose for social media. So now this is my post types: story, review, resources. These are the major topics I write about. I talk about failure, success, product, growth marketing, funding. These are the major things I blog about. So these are it took me great stress to get to focus on this. These are my niches. So, but you, if I starting out as a writer, you can have just one niche. That's not what I'm going to write about only products. Please don't compare. I'm trying very, very hard to not make people overwhelmed. Please don't compare my day 200 with your day two. So you might start off with just one major topic and be known for that. The first thing that made me popular online was what? How to blog. Simple. Personal branding. That was made me. That was the first thing. That was the only thing I was talking about. Personal brand. That was the only thing. So now don't look at the fact that I have 7 things here and think you must start with one thing. So if you're a software developer, you can choose to what start that I'm going to be writing only mobile apps and focus on only mobile apps. Or say I'm going to be doing only front end. I'll still show portfolio about these things. But please, when starting now, don't overwhelm yourself. Don't carry too many things. I have to say this thing to help. So that when you don't go back and think that you're not doing much things. Please, I've been doing this thing for 6, 7 years now. Please don't compare it. But I'm showing you the principle. That I'm focusing more on principles. But also letting you know. So you're just starting out. So you're a designer now. Because that was you're a product designer. You can say that what I want to talk about only a particular aspect of product design when it comes to content. So now when it comes to creating content, you need to understand one thing. You don't have to be an expert before you can start creating content. Like I told you, when I started learning design, I started posting about design from day one. I didn't say I have to wait. And it was that post that made me get jobs. Because I talk about design every day. The first guy came and said was, come and help me design my website. And he paid me 80K. I took 40K and gave the WordPress developer that built the website 40K. Then Bitcoin Chief came and said, come and design app for me. He paid me 100K for that. All those people that started giving me those jobs, they are the people that I didn't apply. They were DMing me to offer me jobs because what? They have been my status updates. And I've been talking about this design thing. They've seen my design every day as I'm dropping design. I'm talking about design. So they had confidence in me. Like I said, if you're in this session and you're not writing, you're a very, very unserious human being. Very, very unserious. And I'm waiting for you when you come and ask me questions. And I'll ask you for your notes. So Monday. So communities are the different things. This don't even bother yourself with the community aspects. Now I don't want to cause more confusion. So, but now you see the different ways. What Monday, though my PA will soon sack me because for 2 weeks now I've not been following this routine due to other life things that are happening with me here in Enugu. She came to my DM this morning and sent me my list for today. I was not telling her I want to keep me with work. But what Monday Builders Digest, that's my newsletter. That's the one my newsletter. So created, let's see, you understand, the WhatsApp thread of key points in my Builders Digest. You see the level of intentionality. Those things, every single thing you're seeing in my WhatsApp status is intentional. It's not random. It is not random. It is not random. I didn't sell you this webinar last week. I've sold you this webinar over a period of months. It was not what you saw on Saturday that made you pay for this webinar. I've been priming for this webinars for months now. How many people remember when I talked about Roving Heights on my status? When was that? When was that? 2 months ago. But do you know the funny thing? I was not, when I was sharing 2 months ago, I was not thinking about hosting this webinar. But do you know what happens? After a period of time, my brain, I tell you guys about your brain is a supercomputer. When I think of, okay, I told myself, do you know, guys, I think it was Friday was the first time I talked about this webinar. I was coming out from, I went somewhere and I was coming back and I'm like, I need to go to the webinar next week. What will I talk about? And from where I dropped to where I trekked into my house, I already know I'll talk about sales and skills. So what is the subtopics? What are the things what have I talked about on my status over the past few months that relates to sales and skills? I remember that 3 months ago, I thought about how to hunt for email address. I thought about it again when I did the roving heist things. But those times, I was just sharing what happened in my day. my daily routine. This is what I'm as a creative, this is what I did today, this is what I achieved today. And people heard it and people read it and they went through. And 24 hours later, that status update cleared, but it didn't clear from their minds. It was there, stored. One thing you have to know about the brain is that what every single thing that you have read or studied or listened to, your brain saves it. But the thing about it is that what the human brain was what designed more for imagination and not for storing information. Does not mean it does not store information, it does. But the main thing your brain does is imagination. Everything you have read is in your brain. But what happens is what the reason why you need to write is because probably the moment where you need that thing, your brain will not be able to give it to you. That's why you need to write. I try to explain the concept of ideas to people. Your subconscious mind is much more bigger than your conscious mind. It is what stores every information. Ideas don't drop from the sky. I call ideas a complete thought. So look at ideas. Okay, what will I use? Pizza. I've been trading pizza for days now. I'm not able to go and buy it. So let me use pizza. Look at a complete idea. So every pizza have 8 slices. You understand? Every pizza has 8 slices or 6 slices, depending on the company. So 8 slices of pizza. This is how ideas work. You do a particular thing, or you read about a particular thing somewhere, or somebody thinks about a particular thing. I know this thing is important. Yeah, yeah. Your mind magnifies it because if someone relates to what you do, your brain catalogs it. But this is just one slice. 2 months later, you see another thing, or you read another article, or you study something else, or you watch a video on YouTube, a random video on Instagram, and this is something. Oh, this is something that relates to what I do. Your brain stores this another slice, and probably over a period of 6 months, the 8 slices get complete. And once the 8 slices is complete, what does your brain does? Your brain packs it into a box, seals the box, and what pushes it to your conscious mind. That's when I say brain, I'm talking about your subconscious mind. So once that thing becomes complete, it packages it and what it pushes the information to your conscious mind. Bam! And next you say, I have an idea. That idea did not form that moment. That idea has been forming for weeks in your subconscious mind. And this once everything needed for you to get started on that idea became complete, your subconscious mind was wrapped it together and pushed it to your conscious mind, and it dropped as an idea. Every single idea you get didn't complete. It was not. It was things you have learned over a period of time. So when I told myself I need to run a webinar next week, what will I talk about? Sales and skills. What are the different things that the moment I started making that demand on my brain started reminding me everything I've talked. Because now there's a purpose. The reason why you don't remember some things because what there's no defined path. You just want to remember that randomly. So the moment I told my brain, what have I talked about that related to this? What do people know about me? And of course, the other data was coming in, things I've created in the past that have been validated by people. Like I told you guys, when I teach, I write. Because I'm teaching about talking about I'm taking notes is validation for future things. That's why I said what you can't make money in this life if you're not intentional. It's impossible. Because some people join this session, despite everything I've said about writing, they're still not writing. They're still lying down on their bed, minimizing this Google Meet, and they're on WhatsApp. And I'm telling you that what a little sleep and what a little slumber and what poverty will embrace you. You will come to poverty will come to your house and feel at home. Because even I that I'm teaching you guys here, I'm taking notes. But you that paid to come and join this, you're not writing. You're not serious. So that is how ideas are formed. So the moment I was no, I know no the people that are writing know themselves. If I call your name, you'll be shocked. You'll be shocked if I call your name. Should I call one person that is not writing? Onyebuchi is not writing. Onyebuchi is not writing. So 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 that is how complete thoughts comes. That is how you say you're writing. Are you sure? How many Onyebuchi are on this call? Anyways, let's move on. So let us understand one thing. So what is very, very important. So so I want to run a webinar. Okay, what are the different things about webinars that are what are the different things about this that I've done in the past? My brain was just filling in the right gap. And by the time I got into my room, I sat down and I wrote down the key points. I opened my WhatsApp status and what I wrote out. I say I sold out this webinar. Okay, I sold most of it. Out of the 50 out of the 50 people that joined this webinar, I already sold 40 slots before I even created a flyer. Because some of you, before you be thinking, some people go and create flyer and do everything and they still not drive sales. Because what they're not sure what people want from them yet. So I don't need flyer to sell a class on my status. I don't need to create flyer. All I need to just talk about what I want to teach. So it's very, very important. It's very, very good, important. So that is how complete thoughts are formed. So I just give a side. So now you see the difference I have to do. Tuesday business post. That's my chasing your business. Twitter thread. You see the different things. So that every single day there are things that are looking to those days. Wednesday, deep dive into the concept that highlights Tuesday post plus elevate session. Atomic essay. I'm not talking about atomic essay. Wow, my PA will start me one of these days. Atomic essay of deep dive of Twitter's Tuesdays deep dive. So every single day you see that and there's time to those things. And of course, I get this time from what remember, I have a daily routine that has time. So it is those time that I use to determine the time I put on those things. That's how those things. But you can just use one document and do your own. You understand? You can just use one document and do your own. So what there is time. So this time here is just what I got this time from. Even when I tell my PA to add onto my calendar, she comes here first and check to know which day to add it. So if it's a super day stuff, she knows that what this other days for super day. Every so that she knows how to put it. But I'm just explaining, making this thing what simple. All right, so that's it for what daily routine. That is it for what daily routine. So the different days. So I've walked up through the concept of that daily routine. So what you need to know the time you are meant to work, and you know what you are meant to be doing at that time, and you have to document this thing ahead. And what the thing about it will refine, you'll be refined over time. This is not my first. That first album was the old one, and this is the new one. Over time, as your responsibility change, so that now, if you get a new job and the job, yeah, you have to change your routine to match those things. But every point in time, you have to. There are two important things. Every single morning, any single morning, every morning you're waking up, there are two things you need to know. What are the things I need to do today, and the time. And the best time to plan your day is the night before. So you can even use that 1 hour before bed to plan, okay, what am I meant to be doing tomorrow? And notice that so when you're waking up in the morning, you're not confused. So I've spent this whole webinar time and discussing only one thing, Jesus Christ. Moving on to the next thing I'm talking about. And the next thing is about creating the right portfolio. Creating the right portfolio. So I said I will show examples of different portfolios. Okay, so I'm sharing this tab instead. So now let's start from designers. So this is Mosky. How many people here know Mosky? One of my bosses. How many people here know Mosky? Okay, so I had to take care of something. So yeah, so now this one thing most many people don't even get jobs, not because they are not good, but they've not been able to even properly define what they do. You understand? So now this is Mosky's portfolio, and it's a product designer. You see, you can practically just use this as an inspiration. So now you see the way you see what tab am I sharing? Oh, all right. So now this is his LinkedIn is linked here, his resume. Even if you open his resume is another one on his own. And all you see is CV, his name, his address, and everything is there. And there's a summary of what he does. And what this is personal experience. So now, if you don't have personal experience, and I'm still going to come to that, I'm going to come to that aspect. But now see the different things you have worked on over the years. Is here. Then this education is here. There's active and past projects is here. And what there's also technical competence. Then there are things you see, articles and publications. These are the things he has created. So now the last three things here were collaborations. The first thing was what is design system webinar with Drills. The second thing here is my growth webinar is the work webinar I did with him. The third thing here is that what the one he did with Chris Do and Praise Philemon. These are publications. And this volunteer work. You understand? So when starting out, you are probably someone that does not have probably an experience or anything. You have to do that yourself. First of all, you can come together with other creators and create a project. So now these are the different. Okay, I was not even sharing the tab. So this is the tab I was going to be sharing. So now you see what you go to projects. You see what has worked on different projects. So now, example now, election is next year. And now, yeah, you want to support your candidate. Set up together a mini team with other creative. Set up something that's what showcases your what. Add it to project. This is a project we have worked on. So see most kids active and past project. This is his courses are here. His newsletter is here. His digital product is here. His YouTube channel is here. And what other platform he has worked on. So that's the first. So this is mostly for designers. But what I'm trying to just give you a walk through this thing. So I'm sharing this tab instead again. So this is about so portfolio this thing. So product design is here. So what now? This is what separates the newbies from the passionate people. I didn't say newbies from the pro. I said newbies from the passionate. So documentation is important. So this is a case study. If you're here, you're a designer, you need to take case studies seriously. Go and study and create. There's somebody here now that is speaking with me now. He's any product. He's just a new person in product design. And he's taking a local US course. But what is very, very interesting about creating a portfolio, he designed a full app and wrote a case study of it. If you are a copywriter, write copies. And what I'm just going to come to writers, but we're still in designers now. So now you see the case study. The case study even leads to what the reason why people don't trust you is because there's no proof out there of what you have done. And what you must not have jobs before what you start creating. Create fictional projects and add it to your portfolio. The main thing there is showcasing what you can do. So what design a website. So I think this particular section is fluid because everything applies for everyone. So I don't think that's what. So let me just share this guys onto. Where is that? This thing. So in terms of creating fictional work, everybody can learn from Adeola. Adeola is a developer. This is his portfolio site. Now this I'm teaching applies for both writers, both design, no matter what you do. So this is Adeola's this thing portfolio. Now, if you go to view projects, he built this portfolio himself. But if you can use Notion simply, the same way Adamola used Notion for his own, he must not use a big. Most people are so fanciful. Like me, I was meant to set meant to set exam for his application last week. The exam is meant to be this week, and I was just cracking my head. What software will I use set this exam for them? I was like, I can use either Google Form or Typeform to set exams. Maybe it's just to set questions and put options. And if the person gets it correct, you know that the person gets it correct. You know, sometimes people don't overcomplicate things for yourself. Don't overcomplicate things for yourself. Don't think you have to go and set up a website somewhere. Notion is a great start. If I open UKJSO now, you see the way he uses Notion to show is everything. Don't kill yourself. Most people they add more layers of complexity for things for themselves because what they think they must be before they showcase their portfolio, that's to be the website. No, free tools like Notion there. So set up a simple Notion page. Just with one YouTube video on how to set up a Notion page, you can set up a portfolio for yourself. So now, see Adela now, you go to project. This thing now is a website. You just went to Unsplash and just took a random picture with a random name for this person. If you click on visit the person's website, he hosted this on Vessel. Vessel is, you can use Vessel to host a page for free. So now he built, but what he has showcased what he can build. This is not a real project. You understand? He has able to showcase that what, oh, if you do something like this done for you, I can get it done because what I've created something like this. If you click on any of those pages, it takes you to the different pages. So what he uses this thing to showcase his abilities. He didn't wait for a company to come and pay him before he started creating all these things. He was, you can easily go out there. You can even if you're a front end developer like him, you can come and clone exactly this thing that he created here and clone it. Oh, sorry, I was not projecting. Sorry, oh, I forgot. Thank you for notifying me. So now this is his portfolio. This is a fictional client. Alexandria 4K. Okay, what is her name? Is it for Q? I don't know. So if you click on visit the website, it's just a simple website, but you can see his level of skill because it's not anybody that can do this kind of interactions where you touch something to open like this. So now if you click on lifestyles, now you see the interactions, you understand? So every single thing here showcases what his talents that he can. These are the kind of things that he can create. I'm sharing it to. Okay, I think it's opening in a new tab. That's why. So let me share this new tab instead. Okay, every time I click on it, it opens in a new tab. So this is the tab I'm sharing now. So now you see what the different things I have to put here. You understand? So these are off and there are websites like this you can use to get fictional brief. Like if I type in, I go to everybody here should create a product hunt account. Everybody should create a product hunt account. Hi, this thing is for chasing them. Why did I tell you this thing? This thing is for chasing pesos. People. Now I've told you people now. Let me clean it from people's mind. But thank God I was not sharing the screen. That place. Listing first, so I would share the portfolio links later. Even if you're already on product hunt, do you understand what I wanted to teach about product hunt? So, okay, you shall follow me on product hunt, everybody. So let me share my product hunt link. So if you're creating a product hunt account, follow me on product hunt. So at least that is the least you can do. Now, talking about if you go to product hunt, you can. This is my funny username on product hunt. I've been using for 7 years now. So you can what? You can actually what? See sample. So now let's go to product hunt. So I'm sharing the tab. I'm sharing the product hunt tab now. That's actually I'm not going to do this webinar for 2 days. So on product hunt now. So let me type design brief. See what I'm looking for. Fake clients. You see now. So now using fake clients, you can use what you can what you can see get briefs. So this see now logo. This is a brief for somebody that somebody needs a graphic designer created. This logo, this UI, this UX, writing. So now this is let's go to write the favorite film article. Read the brief. Say, I'm an employer of blah blah blah, a magazine, and what we need you to create. You see, you have a specification of what you need to create. So you can use platform like this one, you can use platform like fake clients to create things that you can add to what create things that what you can add to your what CV. So there's different this thing. How much is fake clients pro sale this week? They're not doing a pro plan. $5 per month. So you can bring out $5 and do a 1 month plan and what get all the briefs you need. Then we'll start working on the briefs. You can just so you can if you can invest $5 in your portfolio, that will not be bad. $5 is like $5 is like 2.5 or so. So you do 1 month plan and what get professional briefs. Or you can even create briefs yourself. You don't necessarily need them to create briefs. I'm just so you don't have to know how to create briefs. Or you can check for other options on how to create briefs. But when you get those briefs, you start using it as a guide to create something that different briefs, there's design, there's writing. But the most important thing was getting briefs on things you need to create and add. You can create fictional startups like that what Ade did. If you go to his former website, his former portfolio has something like that. Uh, he has okay, let's go to the version one of his website. That's where he did fish. He did that's where he did. So I think this version two is more about he has taken it down. It was very, very nice. A lot of people were blushing. So he has taken it down. But I believe if you go to his GitHub, you can see it. He created fictional. So for example, now you can go to something like Cowrywise and what replicate something like this and what name it something else. But what the key is what show what you are good at. That's the most important thing. So when you're applying for jobs, you would know how to pitch yourself. So when you're sending links, you are going to different people who just want to apply. But what someone can click on your portfolio and see things that what shows that this is what I can. This is an example of what I can create. You understand? This is an example of what I can create. So that is that about portfolios. That is that about portfolios. That is that about portfolio. So let's even check Kingsley Ukeje's on Kingsley Ukeje. Uh, let's just click on carrots. See that what okay, this is I'm looking for the one that leads to Notion. I think it's Telio that leads to Notion. Yes, Telio that leads to Notion. So like this is he hosted this one on Notion. And what you could see, he gives a brief about it. And what he see the milestone, the different phases of the project from product documentation, what they say they need there, to what strategy, to what the different features, down to the building. See the amount of weeks it took. So everything is documented phase one, phase two, phase three. So there's a level, guys, there's the difference between what the difference between you and everybody out there who's looking for job is what you bring to the table. Don't just what say I'm looking for a job and not doing anything different. You're not doing anything different from what someone everybody out there. It is your difference that makes you stand out. It is what you do different that makes you stand out. You can't say you're looking for a job and what you're just another person to just apply with just a cover letter. No, create things, invest that time. The, even if it's 2 hours a day, and what work out things, show proof of what you can do. And anytime you're not creating a portfolio, you're getting better. So it's very, very what important. So I think these are going to stop. I've talked for 2 hours. So the other thing I want to teach are also major. So if we paid for a 1 day webinar, but what now people are getting a 2 days webinar, right? And it's been because I was talking too much. If I had come here and just talked on what I said I'll teach, I've been done since. But anyways, and I said my goal is always what growth. So we're going to stop here and what let's ask questions. Then we'll not discuss and know the second day to complete other things. Amadi say thank you for talking too much. Just go do. Question time. This is enough would have listening. Question time. You can ask a question in the chat box and I'll answer. I'm giving 2 minutes for questions. Once it's 10:10, we'll end the call and I'll answer. I'm very tired. So I'm taking only 3 questions. So first 3 questions I'll answer it in the chat box. Ebube say anything that touches for traders, FS cryptos, in terms of portfolio creating. No, for you, your portfolio needs to be your content. So as you're analyzing a particular coin, document it, put in the entry price, and guys, you have to be creative about these things. So you can document the different analysis that you did. So if you analyzed what and what you must not do this for all the coins. You can just say that it can just be your major wins for the month. So let's say you analyze 10 coins and the made profit. You can just say which was the 3 biggest wins that I had this month. And what those as you do, God, this is premium information I'm getting for free. Okay, it's not for free. I shall pay money. So now you can come about a particular coin now. So you are a trader, and it is your notion what your notion this thing your notion document is there, and what in a particular month you review. Let's say you pick out three coins. These are the coins that are called, and what you explain the thought process behind the technical analysis that you did. And these are the different things I checked to analyze. This is what I use to analyze this token, both the technical analysis, also the fundamental. Look at these things I checked. You added this, then buying entry point. I enter the coin at this price and exit at this price. So you are doing this for the aspect of if you are trying to sell courses to people. So people can always come there and see your skills and probably buy your course. That's one thing, which is mostly that for us. So people are either or you are trying to build an investment this thing. If you're trying to build an investment company, or you want people to trust you with funds, it's also a great way to show your expertise. You know, oh, this guy knows what he's doing. Oh, this coin I analyze and enter the profit. We saw it also. Yes, this guy always goes to market cap and also even check the price at that point. So what is very, very important that it's practically your process, documentation of your process. Documentation of your process. So like I said, once you get in now, you start interacting, start talking about how you set up your portfolio, you will get guidance from other people in the group too. So code pitches is next, is not is day two. I'm going to teach that in day two. And we are stopping here. Yeah, stopping here. We are stopping here for today. We mm, 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 mm. All right, so guys, so I wanted to talk briefly about using the Bezos. I know. So I was talking to somebody day before yesterday, and she told me that when she saw the way I was hyping chasing Jeff Bezos, that she felt that it's going to be $200. So when Tina launched and she was seeing 10K, that she was shocked. But you know the funny thing about the whole conversations, she said that what she didn't pay at that point, that she thought I would still make it cheaper. So she said she came back the next day and saw it at 14K, and she started shouting. But now said it's even impossible to sign up for those individuals. It's a wait list. But one of the things I've found out that's what because I've been creating courses all over a period of time. And we're getting to the point where it even goes beyond courses. People need learning communities. You understand? People people join what learning communities. So the changing people is a good community where you're not just getting a content, but there's a specified guide on what this is the different steps. Because I found another thing I found out that what people struggle not because of the content, but because that's why was all through this webinar, I was trying to break things down to the nitty-gritty. A lot of people get information online, but they don't know how to apply at the level where they are. So I recognize that in testing the business, and we now created three guilds, or let's call it three clubs. There's the Elon Club, that's Elon Musk. There's fourth, and what these different clubs cater to three different. Because I found out what when I got feedback from them, I was able to divide them into three people. So some people here join this program. They're just about to get started with learning a skill. They have not even finished making up their mind. So you can talk to them about creating a platform or creating so they're in the Elon Club. Then there are people who are switching from normal tech, people who are designer and people who are doctors, lawyers, accountants, and all those things that they want to switch to tech. There is the fourth club for them. So I also tailor their content to fit them because I'm making a transition. Then there's now the Bezos Club itself. And these are people who are already established, they're already doing a particular skill and making money from it. And they want to extend to building a company or what's building different kind of products. So these are the three different things that what is happening at this Bezos. So it's a great place to be. But for now, there's a wait list. So if you want to join and get notified because like I said, at this point, my focus is more on what growth for of the people joining my program than was even the money itself. That's why I was like, a lot of people have messaged, I just joined the wait list. And whenever and even said, despite the fact that there's a wait list, I'm still only admitting 10 people at each point in time. So admitting 10 people, they come in, they get onboarded, they get integrated, and they start running before I even think of opening again. So doing that way, my goal of ensuring that's what because I use brands to measure the product. I'm not measuring it chasing the Bezos by how many slots I'm able to sell. I'm measuring it by what at the end of the day, I could look at my website and say, these are the brands that came out of this program. That has always been what my focus for it. So I just thinking about you guys. So I'll still talk about this in our day two. So you can join the wait list and what if you believe it's something that's what you can be a part of. So that's that. So Notion, problem is Notion, Notion, Notion. So now while we wait for the day two, assignments before we wait for the day two. There are videos on YouTube on how to use Notion. You will go to YouTube now and type Notion. That can so now before between now and the day two, create your what Notion your Notion private database. You can add anything to it, but ensure that what you have already created. Learn how to create different things in Notion. Notion has different features. Start practicing now on how to use them. Watch at least 3 videos on how to what set up Notion. So I think I'll just bring the best examples for that for you. I'll bring the one I used by a lady that is this thing. Uh, who is this woman? Who is this woman? Can't find her again. No, that would chance her. So see, let me teach you guys. This is another premium information that I'm giving out for free. How to use YouTube search. So now I'm on YouTube. Can you see my screen? I'm on YouTube search now, and I've typed Notion. There's what is Notion. So this is how you get the best videos. Go to relevance, click on view count, and with that, then what you have to get a recent video. So this month, see morning routine Notion. You have to get the latest videos that have the highest view. So now this is what this is this. So let's go with this guy's on.
Hey, what is going on, friends? Welcome back to Tom.
So use this guy's everyone should use this guy's video because he talks about tax. He gave 3 different things. So I'll drop the link. Come on. So guys, I've dropped the link in the chat box. So that is all for today. So by tomorrow. So now watch this Notion video and what I'll unlock the group so that people can start interacting. Watch this. Everybody, you can watch this Notion video. You can come to the group and ask questions. Please, who is already setting up their portfolio? Can we jump on a call so that by day two, there's something I'll talk about in day two that only favor people who have set up their Notion. So when I try to set up your Notion, then you will miss out on it. So I'll set it early. You don't say you are not aware. So ensure that set up your Notion and maybe put one of your projects there or like set up something to like this thing. You understand? So what? Good night was everybody. Good night, everybody. Good night was everybody. You can sleep. Oh, how beautiful.